And welcome. I think we are live. Let me check my face-to-face. I'll be with you in just a second. I know I should have some, pretty music on here now. I'm not sure how to do that. I'm not that tech savvy. There we go. Welcome to a lovely Thursday morning. Just checking all my sound settings. Oh, I think we've got full volume everywhere. So, if someone comes in, I'll get them to check my sound. Otherwise, I'll just have to assume that we are working. I think I've got everything set up correctly here. It's always a bit of an unknown factor with me. We're up to live number 150, and here's Brenda. Hello, Brenda. Would you be able to let me know if you can hear me okay, please? That would be great. I'd hate to do the whole live and have no volume. This time I have all of my volume buttons nice and loud. Sound is good on YouTube. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, so we are creating a card today that is a poor card that I created for a class. I actually created it for a blog hop that I was doing as well, but after I got a less than enthusiastic, let's put it that way, reception at my card class for this card, I decided to change tacks. Hello, Leonie. I did decide to change tacks and do a different card. And we were talking about remembering when. This was a blog hop that went live last night. And we were talking about remembering when, something that triggered memories or something that we were remembering. Now, in Australia here it is September 11th. And that is a big memory triggering day for a lot of people. I went in a different direction and pulled up some of my very early blog posts back when I had a bit of a different style than I have today. I was a very grungy, everything was distressed, sort of darker colours. Was my sort of style back then. And so I pulled up some cards, but I was also flicking through some very old magazines that I have here, and I came across a card by a lady called Tracy Orchard, I think her name is, and she had a craft shop up in North Queensland, I believe. These are very old magazines. I'm talking 15 plus years ago, and I came across one of her cards that she'd created using pears. And we've got the pear set out at the moment. I thought, oh, I'd forgotten all about masking, and I used to use pears a lot back then. I don't know why, but I used to use pears a lot. So I pulled out the pear set. Hello, Bridget. You do love the card. That's all right. That's all right, Bridget. I know that not everyone loves everything, and I have been giving this card some thought. And so what I've done is I had made cards up for kits. I've given some away to team members who will get those in the mail, and I have another 2 left over which I'm going to give away today. But sadly, Brenda, only 2 people in Australia, because it's a physical product and I need to post it. So let's move over to the craft desk, shall we? And then you may understand when you see the card what I am talking about. So where's my craft desk? Did that work? Yes. So this is my poor pear card, which I was very excited about when I created, but I don't know whether that's just a nostalgia thing, because I used to use pears so often and I love the technique, and so it brought back a lot of lovely memories for me of my pre-Stampin' Up days, when I used to do quite a lot of cards like this, darker colours, lots of technique in it, lots of ink blend. We call it sponging back then because we didn't have the ink blending brushes. Fruit is not your go-to, Bridget. But Bridget, you do such a lovely fruit platter. I would have thought that fruit would have been your thing. So I've made this a congratulations card because that's one of the sentiments in the Perfectly Pears set, which is this one. So this is the Perfectly Pears stamp set, and these are the dies, and there is a die here that fits that congratulations perfectly, so that's what I used. And I figured that because I didn't use this one for my blog post, I created a different card. I'll show you the other card that I created for my blog post, which was this one. Totally different. But mind you, we did have to case a lady from the US called Bree Renwick. And she does lots of bright colours and solid blocks of colour. So really this card wouldn't have been very suitable for that anyway because it's not Bree's style. So I moved up and I changed up and did this one, which is includes some things that I used to do a lot of. And I had a very old card, was this a very old traditional sailing boat vessel. I don't even know what you call them, with lots of sails. What are those big ships with lots of sails? Anyway, one of those. So we did a boat, and I did lots of bright colours. So in the end, that one worked out really well. But then, of course, my pear card was left sitting there. What am I going to do with that? So I thought, oh, well, I'll create live, and we'll create the card live because it does have a really interesting technique with masking with this set. But you do need to have this set, and I have 2 kits, which I will mail out to 2 people in Australia, the first 2 people who'd say they'd like it in Australia. Real fruit is your go-to. Yes, Bridget does a beautiful fruit platter. So I have these done, and I'm going to use one of them today, and then I'm going to mail a couple out to whoever might want them in Australia. So let's get started. I've waffled on for a good 7 minutes to allow some people to come in, but it's lovely to see you here live, Bridget. All right, so I've got a kit here. And all the bits are in it already. It's even got an envelope with some bits for the inside the envelope. And these are the other elements that we'll need for the card. Now I have created the mask here, but I'm going to create it separately now to show you how I did that. So in the kits, all the bits that I did cut out are here and in this packet, although we'll need them to create our mask with this bit, and we've got a reverse mask as well. So I'm just going to show you how to create that, because in this set, the pear body and the top of the pear, the leaves and the stem, are separate dies. In the stamp set, they are separate dies as well. So it's a bit tricky to create a mask. So this is what I did. So let's do that first, shall we? Right, I've got a piece of basic white cardstock. Let's pull out the dies. Now my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is the large one, so I can't bring it up underneath here. It's too big and clumsy. So I'll just take it away to die cut it, but I'll show you what I did. Just put that one away. All right, so we will need a mask and a reverse mask. So we can't just cut it out and have it like this, because I need an actual mask as well as the reverse mask. So we'll start off by die cutting the pear body somewhere around there, so we leave enough space for the stem at the top. So we'll grab this. Actually, you could probably do it a different way, which would save on paper. Just thinking, I did it a long convoluted roundabout way, but we could do it a different way. I wonder if that will work. Probably. We'll start with the stems. So we'll put this where we want it, and I like my little stems to have a jaunty angle, so we'll just pop them like so, and we'll die cut this bit first. So I'll just take that over to my machine here and die cut that bit. Okay, so we've got our stems, and then we want to die cut this bit down here like so. So something like that. Go ahead and die cut that one. You were determined to watch you live and all the stars aligned. That's perfect. Well, this is now you really, the technique that I'm showing here really is specific in a way to the pear set because of the way it's set up. So the whole technique was how to create these masks with the pear set, but it maybe hopefully will give you some ideas on how to use masking in other masking and reverse masking. I'm just lining this up in another situation with another stamp set maybe. It is a try and true technique with stamping. It's the masking. Alright, so once I've cut that bit out, I end up with these two bits here. And you can see they will then lock together like that. So what you will end up with is your mask and your reverse mask. So when you get your kit, you will have a what I call a reverse mask, those who will get the kit. Just, if I can open my little baggie here, I'm just trying to watch the comments at the same time. So in the kit you will get these two bits cut out, ready to stick together. I haven't stuck them together for you, but ready to stick together. And you will also have your reverse mask in the kit as well. I'll use the ones that I pulled out today because they do need to be the same. Right, so we'll put those ones aside. Put the dies somewhere where I can find them again. And we now need to put this little masky bit together. So we'll use some double-sided tape. Grab my scissors. And, oops, don't stick. We're just going to attach the stem to the pear. And then I'm not going to take the backing off, but I'm going to do the back side as well. And then I will have an actual mask, this one, to cover up our pear image, and a pear, which should, because we've die cut them the way we have, should line up nicely like that. It doesn't have to be exactly exact. You'll see from my card that nothing's exactly exact. Nothing comes right to the edges. So that if it doesn't quite fit by 1/2 millimetre or so, it's not really going to matter. But that's what you want to end up with, is your pear and your pear mask and your reverse pear mask, like so. All right, now we will need a folded basic beige, for this card anyway, basic beige folded card. Now there's something with this one. I used the Everyday Arches dies, and I don't think I have them here. Do I have? Oh yes, these ones. And I wanted the shape that fits the pear on it. So this was the one that I went with because it sort of fitted the pear on it. However, for a standard card, let's bring this one in that I'd made earlier. That's our standard card in Australia, or metric sizing. So these were a little bit too large. Now in the US, your cards, I did put 4 in there, an extra in case I made a muck up. In this one, you're going to have to readapt the design, especially in the US, to fit onto your card because you have a shorter card than we do here in Australia. So I'm just trying to find my ruler, which I think is underneath the mat here. So you would have to work your card a little differently by overlapping the arches. So in the US, I'm pretty sure is it 5.5 inches high, Brenda? Do you work in metric or imperial, Brenda? There's no one else here on from the US, and yes I do. I have my little chart here. So the imperial sizing is 5.5. So that only comes to here. So you're going to have to overlap your arches when you put them on your card front. In Australia, our normal card is this width. That's 14.8 roughly. That's a bit shorter. I cut that one down shorter. 14.8, and even on a 14.8 card, didn't quite fit. You had to overlap them. But because the size was such a little overlap, I elected to extend the card to 15.5. Now that will still fit in the envelope, in our standard envelope. So it's about the maximum you could go to. So this card is a little bit longer than our standard card here in metric in Australia. Just so you know, if you go to create it at home, you'll need a longer card, 15.5. I do have the measurements. I'll put them up in the blue mushroom group. Just lost my video there. Did I lose my videos for you guys? 5.5 by 4.25. Yep, that's it in imperial. So you will need to overlap them. You'll have a lot of space this way for your darker layer, which I've used Secret Sea, and I've cut it so that it's the same width because I do need to fit my arches on. A little bit shorter, and I've embossed the top of it with, out of the Glasses and Gardens dies, this die with a sort of glassy pattern on it. So I've just embossed the top, and that's just to give it a little bit of interest at the top, because we do have a bit of space because I'm putting my arches right down the bottom of the card. Okay, so they're our base pieces done and ready to go. I'll just put those over here, and we'll work on colouring up these arches, these arch shapes. So we've got, we'll do the first one. So the first one we're going to need, I've worked with crushed curry and old olive, are the two ink colours that I'm working with. So I've got those here. I have a ton of options here for colouring. So I've got some ink blending brushes, don't need that one. And I've also got some sponge daubers. So whatever works best for everybody. Now we're also going to need to put our stamps on blocks. So, oh, here's some stamps I did earlier. Oops, have I lost you? I keep losing my connection to my phone. I can't tell if it's going away on the big screen. Doesn't look like it. Here's some pairs I did earlier to get different ideas for colouring them up. They come out beautifully. So we'll need this one. Oh, we'll need this one. And we'll need this one. And we'll need this one. So I think they're the only ones that I'll need. So we've got the shadow for both the pear and the outline. I really hope that's not dropping out, because it's definitely dropping out here. Some blocks for those. Let's see if I've got the right sizes. So you can see I've used this one well. It's got lots of colour in it. Yes, it is dropping out. What's going on here? Sorry, ladies, it doesn't drop out for long, but it is dropping out. And I'm not sure why. Must be my internet, maybe. Said I had a very good connection in YouTube. I got a big plus, but it's not. It's dropping out a little bit. We'll just keep ploughing on. Hopefully it won't become a permanent thing. Okay, and now for my background, I am going to need to use elements of text, and I'm going to use this large text stamp. So we put that on a large block. Now this only just fits this stamp. Put it the right way, Cheryl. But it doesn't really matter because it goes outside the lines anyway. Okay. Right, now I am just going to check that I've got, looks pretty straight enough. Just flick it around a little bit. Okay, tag 1. So we're going to do some stamping of our pear into this one. We're going to stamp into the reverse mask. So this is going to mean that we can then have the same orientation for our leaves. And the good thing about this is make sure that fits on, is that this stamp is meant to go inside the outline, and then this die cuts outside the outline. So you've got space to put the little stamp down inside that reverse die and not cut any of it off. So I'm going to ink it up with some crushed curry. Nice good pear colour. Then I'm going to add with my Old Olive sponge dauber, just going to move all these out of the road so I can ink on them, some what is it? Old Olive ink. So I'm just working out which side I want to put it on. I'm going to put it onto this side. So I just tap lightly on and sort of go backwards and forwards so you don't end up with a harsh line or any dots in your pear. So I've just, you probably can't see it, I have just added a little bit of green into the pear here. So now I'm just going to stamp that down inside the reverse mask. Hello Monica, how are you? Hello Rachel. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Pretty good. All right, so we'll just put that back down here because we're now going to stamp our leaves as well into here, and that I'm just going to ink that up with Old Olive. I'm not going to worry about any blending. Just line that up again and stamp again inside the reverse mask. And this is just so we get the same shape for when we use the other mask. Ta-da, how pretty is that? And it's really pretty just on its own. But we will go ahead now and use this mask. Oops, it's gone again. Is it coming back? Yes. It's coming back. Just hope it doesn't go away forever. Okay, so this time we're going to use, I'm just waiting for it to catch up on YouTube because I think it just drops out and then for a minute with the cross sign and then comes back in. And I'm really not sure why it's doing that. Never mind. So now we're going to use this, sorry I'm a bit distracted because I can see it dropping out. I'm going to use this and it fits over the top because we've cut it to fit the same orientation with the leaves. So it fits nicely over the top, and we are going to add our text over the top, and I'm going to do this one in crushed curry. So we'll ink that up. Now this is going to leave an outline because the width of the basic white cardstock will mean that it won't go right up to the edge of the pear. In the old traditional way of masking, you would stamp this on a post-it note and then cut it out just inside the line of the image, and then the background would match up with the pear exactly, but I'm not doing that with this. It creates a nice little halo effect which looks actually okay. So we're just going to stamp this down over the top. Give it a bit of pressure. You love pears? Yes, I'm a bit of a pear fan. So you can see now we've got the text in the background and a little bit of an outline around it, which is fine because we're just looking for that particular effect. Now this is what it looks like once I've ink blended the edge of it. So we're going to ink blend the edge of that with crushed curry, and you can see that that then forms a nice little halo around the pear, which sort of I think looks quite nice. So we'll grab the I'll need another block. Grab this one, a little bit of crushed curry on here, pick that up, and I'm just going to lightly blend around the edge. Sort of brings it all together. So I'm working on basic beige, so it is a softer effect anyway. And I'm just going to quickly go over that to tone down that basic beige a little bit, but still leave a little halo around the pear. That's tag 1. Now we'll do the other opposite side for tag 2, which is the same, tag 3, sorry, the opposite side. And I changed up, I mean, you could do the same colours. I changed mine up because I was sort of playing around with the way that the pear's stamped. So we'll do that same thing again, and we will use this, which will need to be cleaned off because it's got lots of crushed curry ink on it. Just clean that off. And this time I'm going to ink it up with Old Olive. And I'm going to add the crushed curry. I've only got a Daffodil Delight dauber, so that's what we'll use. I'm going to use the crushed curry to ink into the pear, and I'm going to put it on this side here. Now it's not going to be the same because I'm mixing the crushed curry in with the Old Olive, because we've started with Old Olive and putting the crushed curry over the top. It's not going to be exactly the same as the other pear. The Old Olive is going to be much darker. Now we'll do the same thing by stamping it into now I didn't worry too much about getting them exactly right on the tags. I didn't mind if they were a little bit different. So we'll just pop that down onto there and stamp our pear into the hole basically. Pressure, and you can see that that one is a totally different pear colouring to that one, because I've started off with the Old Olive. Alright, so put this back over here and we will do our leaves, and again I'm just going to do those in Old Olive. You'll notice that I'm not putting an outline on this one. I quite like the effect without the outline. It looks a little bit arty and watercolory. So we'll line this one up and then again into the hole, stamp our leaves. Ta-da! Gorgeous. And then we're going to do the same thing by putting text over the top by using our actual mask, not our reverse mask, our actual real mask, which is this one. This time I'm going to stamp in Old Olive, so I will need to clean the crushed curry off this. Ink it up and stamp over the top. Need to give it a bit of pressure just to make sure that it makes as much contact with the mask as with the tag as possible. You love to eat pears. Yes, so do I. Haven't had pears for a while. We've got a pear tree out there, which is nice. We only get a few off it because it's only a dwarf one and it's not very big. I'll just clean that off while I remember. So there's our masking around the pear. And again, I'm going to ink that with crushed curry. Got some left on here, so we'll just go again around the edge. If I'd done that with Old Olive, I think the difference would have been a little bit too much. There we go. So now we've got two, one slightly darker than the other because we use different colour. Now let's move on to the middle pear, which is the feature pear. So the middle tag. And I call these tags because I'm going to make them into tags in a minute. So now this one is slightly different in that we're going to put our text, I'll just show you, on the inside of the pear. and we're also going to stamp our outline. So we're going to start off with the same thing that we've done previously. Stamp our pear into here. Now this time I'm just going to use, I'll just clean this off, I'm just going to use Old Olive. So no extra inking, just the Old Olive ink. Hello Barb. Oh cool, okay. How are you going? Alright, so we will pop this down, and again we're going to stamp into the hole, into the mask. And now we're going to stamp our stems. Same way, Old Olive ink, line this up and stamp into the gap. Ta-da! And we've got a Old Olive pear, no shading, and you can see that stamp has lots of shading in it without even adding any extra ink to it. So that's good to go. Next up, we are going to use this mask again to stamp our text. Now, this sits over the top here, like that, and I'll grab my text stamp. I'm going to stamp with Old Olive, so I'll ink this text stamp up. So this time the text will be inside the pear. Now there's a lot of extra you know, spaces that you think it's going to add the text into those spaces, and it may do, but we'll pull it all together in the end. I'll just line that up as best I can. So over the top, give it a bit of pressure in the middle because that's where you want to stamp, and lift it off. And I just want to show you that we've got a little bit of text in here, but not much, but you can see the text on the pear, and it really hasn't gone outside the lines, and that's because the stamp won't connect right up close to where the edges of the card are because of that width of the card. So it worked quite well, but we are going to consolidate that now by adding the outline text, the outline stamp over the top. It's photopolymer, so it's easy to line up. We'll just line this up here. Easy to line up, she says, trying to work over a phone. So I'm having a few issues, but anyway, we'll get there. Not sure if that lined up at all, not quite, but that'll do. But you get the general idea. I've got my phone in between me and my desktop. So now we'll do the same thing with this one. Let's see if I can get this one lined up a bit better. Like that. And I really don't like this, so I am going to add a little bit of colour with my blending brush. Okay, so I've got a, is that one got ink in it? Yes, so I've got a blending pen, it's called, not a blending brush here, and I will need some Old Olive ink. Has it dropped out for a while yet? I haven't been watching. So we'll pick some of this up, and I'm just going to add a little bit of shading around here, just so that it's not quite so in your face. Make it look like it's meant to be there. Add a little bit in here. There we go. Now we're looking okay. What else do we have to do on here? Now we are going to add some splatter, and just to make sure that I don't get any on my pear, I'm going to lay this over the top. So in the elements of text, which is on the last chance list in Australia, I'm not sure if it is in the US, but in Australia this one's on the last chance list at a slight discount, and it's my favourite stamp set. I was so sad to see it on the last chance list, but anyway, you'll see me using it a bit. Now, I don't know if I've got a block for this size, so I'll just take, what don't I need anymore? This one. Take that off. And I'm going to stamp with crushed curry. All my ink pads open here. Very bad. Around the edge. Got ink on my fingers, ink everywhere. Luckily this is a smash, like a grungy sort of card. Maybe that's why I really liked grungy cards back when I first started stamping, because you could get away with a multitude of sins and call it grunge. Fingerprints, all sorts of things. And then we've got some splatter in the background, and we'll need our crushed curry blending brush again to add some blending around the edge. Just to bring this all together so they all look like they match. How's that? Pretty. Very pretty. So that's all of the masking that we need to do. So that you now can put that in with your pear stamp set, and always have those little masks there ready to do this. And even if you don't like this particular card, maybe that's something that you could use for other things, you know, with your pear set. Right, let me close some of these off because I don't think we need them anymore. We can go ahead and put the rest of the card together. Just move everything out of the road so I don't accidentally have a big accident. Cheryl. I've got some Elements of Text. Is a fabulous stamp set. It is, Bridget. I'm going to cut. This is the ribbon called, I've got it in here. Mossy Meadow and Gold, I think. Yes, here it is. Comes with the Pear Suite, Mossy Meadow and Gold 1/4 inch ribbon. Comes with the Pear Suite. So we will need this, I haven't got the other one here, but this is a set of 3 little punches that create little tag tops. The other one's a little hole and is enormously useful, but these create the top of a tag shape. So I'm going to use this one with the little notch in it, and we're going to put some holes in the top of our tags so we can put our ribbon through. I'll just sort of guess. You could mark this. I'm just going to guess. That's another thing that has changed a lot from when I first started stamping. I was so precise. Everything was measured to within an inch of its life. I would have marked all this up with pencil so that they're all exactly the same. And I don't know whether it's a getting older thing, but now I just don't even worry. So we'll cut this into 3. There's my ribbon scissors. Oh. And we'll tie them through here. Now, I can't quite remember which way I did them. I'm pretty sure I just did a double knot. I only made this card last week, you know. I think I'd remember, hey. So pull it tight, and then I think it just goes this way. I think this is this a reef knot? Left over right, right over left. Don't even know if I did that right then. This way, Cheryl. Pull it and then trim off the ends. Now they need to be reasonably short so they don't stick too far off the card, because this is such a larger card. Then which way will we go? This way. That match. this one through, tie it in a little knot. I think I did that one the wrong way. That's okay. We'll twiggle it. Now, if your bows don't go the way you want them to, grab your glue dots and if you whack a glue dot under there, it sort of makes it go the way you want it to. But we'll just run with this. Let's do the first one a little bit long. Right, it's that one, and this one. So one side of this is very gold and the other side is a more muted gold. I quite like the muted gold. But it's a beautiful ribbon. And it's Mossy Meadow. Who'd have thunk that Mossy Meadow ribbon would be so beautiful. Mossy Meadow and gold. I don't know what I'm doing here. Did I go the wrong way around? Mossy Meadow and gold are a match made in heaven by the looks of it. Oh, I'm having a fumble finger here. There we go. And there we go, our little tags done and ready to go. How's that? So, bit of gluing. Do you get a lot of use from the punches? I've been interested in them. I have used them a lot, Brenda, especially the little hole punch. Now, what did we use that for in class the other day, girls? Oh, we wanted to make flower centres for the tiny... I don't have the card we did at class here. But I've got this one. See these tiny little flowers? So the little tiny hole punch, if you cut glimmer paper out of it, they make perfect little centres for all these tiny little flowers. The pear set does have little flowers as well. Oh, and I've got some here that I can show you. The pear set, some more pears. The pear set here, tiny little flowers, and if you cut the little tiny hole punch, cut the little centres out of glimmer paper, they fit perfectly in there. So I've used it for that a lot, and of course I do like it for the top of tags, and you can change most of your shapes of your dies into tags just by adding them. So yeah, I quite like them. They're a handy one that I will just keep forever. Now, I'm going to glue this on with some glue. If you've got the old handheld punches, which I do somewhere, it's very similar to the old handheld punches that make the small hole. So if you've got those, then you possibly wouldn't need them. I'm such a not a good salesperson, am I? Of course you need them, Brenda. But yeah, the small hole punch works similar to those handheld hole punches. But I love this one that has the little extra notch for the tags. And then it's got the straight one as well. This one works well for, I don't know where all my cards are, but I use this one to punch, oh, I haven't got a tag here, a shape here. But I die cut a shape for a sentiment, and then you can use this one to do 2 little ribbon slots in either side, and then you can thread your ribbon through, so that works well for that too. Just the punches are so handy because if you have them as dies, they sort of get put away and you never know where to find them. Whereas the punches are there, you know where they are. Right, I've got that well glued down now, and you can see that there's that little bit of extra texture in the top. I could have, if I wanted to be really grungy, have done this out of the 2-tone cardstock and then sanded it, but didn't really think it needed it. Now originally I was going to put all my tags along here like this, and then I thought, oh, the little gaps are so narrow, that looks a bit weird, so I just pushed this one up a fraction and it makes such a difference. So let's go ahead and glue those on. I've just glued them on flat because I'll put my sentiment up. So we will do the two outside ones first. I know that I don't have much room to work with, so it doesn't really... Usually I'd start with the middle one and then do the outside, but I know I don't have a lot of space. You can see that the border is very, very narrow. So we'll do the two outside ones, and then the inside one will just fit wherever it fits. Pop that down. And this one. So masking was one of the very first things, along with heat embossing, that I learned when I started stamping. It was very much a well-used technique for getting things to be in the foreground. A lot of our stamps were a little basic back then, and so you certainly didn't have a lot of this 3D texture, and so there was a lot of, you know, putting things in the foreground. We had punches, but they weren't intricate like the punches we have now, and we certainly didn't have dies when I first started stamping. So you either had a fussy cut or you had to mask to get things to look like they were in the background and the foreground. I don't mind at all, Brenda. Please do. I'd love it. That's what most of us put our cards up for, you know, is for you people to case them. It's a huge honour when someone cases your card, when you think that what you've done has given someone an idea, or no problems at all. In fact, this card, I can just feel it basking now, thinking, oh, someone loves me. All right, I've got a little strip of Secret Sea cardstock, and I'm going to do some heat embossing for my sentiment. So I'll just grab my white embossing powder. Oops, crash pen. I'll definitely need my embossing buddy and my Versamark ink pad. Give that a bit of a swipe. Is this white? Yes, this is white. Great, I have them. I'll just shovel this out of the road. This one up. Clean. It's a clean one. These get very, very dirty. So my clean one has been a clean one for a long, long time. I've lost what I'm stamping. I've lost my stamp set. Wonder what I did with it. Here it is. So again, we'll just use the congratulations because that's what's in the set and it matches. Ideally, I would put a different sentiment on it because then I'd be able to send this out. Need a... that will work. Just a little block. And again, I'll do two, just in case I totally muck one up. So I've probably got another one of these floating around somewhere, seeing as I always do two, but I have no idea where. Okay, how are we going for time? 11:49, pretty good. My home style is French country. Oh yes, yes, perfect. Yes, please do, Brenda. And if you want to, put a photo up in the Blue Mushroom group, I'm not sure if you can put photos in the comments on YouTube. I don't know enough about YouTube to know if that's a possibility, but we'd love to see it. All right, now just grab my heat tool. Go for it, there we go. And this one at the same time. Just put this up under my light to make sure that I think the front of this one is actually not stamped very well. Not that it's not melted. Oh no, it was not melted. Oops. And then, as I said, it does have a little die. There's one that matches the friend and one that does the congratulations out of that set. I have used these flowers so much. There's a long one with 5 flowers in it as well, but it's in the other box that passed the other day on a magnet. And when I can't find it, the girls are going to tell me, Cheryl, it's still in your box on the magnet. Because in a week's time, I will have no recollection of what I did with it. And I'm just going to, I've chosen which one I'm going to use, so I'll tape this down so it doesn't move, and I will die cut it. It only just fits, only just, so you've got to be careful. Da-da-da. Oh, it's a little bit crooked. Too bad. And I'll grab some, what have I got here? Need some little, I think I've got just enough of the little black ones left. I'll need a, pulled everything out and I can't find anything. I'll use this one. Okay, so I'll just put some of the small dimensionals on the back of here. I always forget to use these little darker ones, which are great on the darker cardstock. Then if they peek out a little bit, it doesn't matter so much. I'll do one more. Yeah, I know, it's a lot. I reserve the right to use as many dimensionals as I like. I'll bring this card in and we'll pop this down over here. Something like that. Now I could have put some sparkly things on it, but I thought there was enough going on with this card, so I have just left it like that. So I mean, this with another sentiment on here would work. It is quite a serene card, so it might work for a sympathy card or a welcome to your new home card, anything like that. I think it would work, even a birthday card. Now for the inside, I'm not going to do the inside today, but I'll show you what I did on this one. So I just stamped the little pears. There's a little double pears. So I just stamped this one, comes with the stems attached, and then you stamp this into the middle. How much time have I got? I've got 6 minutes, I can probably do that. For those of you who don't have the pear set. It's my white bit. So grab the stamp. Now I had that stamp set in my hand. Here. It's here. Oh dear. Oh dear. I think Cheryl's a little bit. Let's grab some blocks. Put that down on there, pop this one on there. So we'll stamp the outline in the Secret C. Now that's, I probably haven't brought Secret C out with me. So we'll use Old Olive on this one because I haven't got my Secret C ink pad here. Just checking that I don't have it in a box. But no, I'm pretty sure I put it away. So I used Secret C on this one. This one? No, the other one. Wherever that went. No, I didn't. I used Old Olive. Secret C. Where did I get that from? Because I've used the layer of Secret C, I think. Anyway, we'll stamp the outlines. This jaunty little angle. And then we'll stamp the pears in crushed curry. Grab my Old Olive dauber and we'll add a little bit of Old Olive. just a little bit. It's still just a touch green. Am I going to get that straight? That's, yes, look at that. Look at that. Did I do that off camera so you couldn't see me if I got it wrong? But look at the texture that you can see. It is such a wow stamp when you get those colours to look like that. Now there is no fill-in stamp for this, so we will use I'll just close these ink pads up. We will use the blender pen, not blending brushes, blender pen. Oh, still got green in it. And just lightly, it's got a lot of ink in it. Lightly colour in those flowers, give them a little bit of texture. The trick with the blender pen is to not go backwards and forwards lots, just stroke your colour in. If you go backwards and forwards, your card will pill, so you need to be mindful of that. You need to be not too fussy about the little white bits that show. I think it makes it good. Now if you wanted to, there is a die for that. You could die cut that, put it over the top and stamp your text on there. With this one I just added some ink blending, so we'll do that again. Do a little bit of crushed curry. And it doesn't matter if you go over your stamped image, just enough to add a little bit of colour. And then that all goes together with the Secret C matting layer, and then glue it inside your card, like so. And then you can add any other sentiment you want, obviously. So that is the pear card. So this one, slightly better stamping into the, but maybe I'll stamp that off because this is quite dark, but I don't mind it dark actually. Makes a nice feature of that middle one. And I'm just trying to see what other differences there are, but I think that's all. You can see I've done this one, and then also it's got that extra green bit around the edge where I coloured with the blending brush, which gives it more of a, it actually makes it look more 3D, which is quite nice. This one's paler. So there we go. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Brenda. And thank you, Barb. Lovely, lovely I'm glad you're giving it some love. It feels much better now. And, you know, knowing me, it'll probably sit here forever waiting for the right occasion to send it out. So these were the ones that I did before. And you could certainly change the colours up and make it a little brighter by changing the colours up. So this is, that's Darling Duckling, Old Olive, and this is Calypso Coral. So all I've done, I just played around with the pears here. You can't do this and then die cut unless you use your mask. That's another good thing that little mask is for. Because then, I didn't do these with this, I just stamped them on there. But if you used this to stamp your pears through, then you should theoretically be able to die cut exactly what you've stamped through there. But otherwise, they are two separate dies, and you ink one up, die cut it and pop it on top. Like I've done here. See, that's popped up on top. So yeah, lovely, lovely image for colouring with your sponge daubers and adding colour over the top. So there you go. That's the pear card. If you are in Australia and would like one of those two kits that I've got, please let me know in the comments. I'll keep an eye on those over the next few days. But not a set you'll be purchasing. That's fine, Bridget. You need to purchase stuff that you're going to use. Yeah, so if you are in Australia and you would like one of those card kits that I pulled out earlier, I've got two left here. So Leonie, yours will already be in the mail. I noticed Leonie was on earlier. So it comes with all the bits already die cut, all you need is the stamp set. So, but you do need the stamp set because it's a very, you won't be able to use it otherwise. So if you've got the stamp set, let me know you're in Australia and I will contact you privately, get your address and mail one out to you. So thank you very much, ladies. Let me just come back to me. I'm glad it stopped dropping out. I didn't seem to notice that as much at the end, so maybe it was my internet glitching a little bit. Thank you for coming along. And we are just at the hour, which is fabulous. You can't wait to get yours? Yes, seeing as you've got the stamp set and haven't used it, Leonie, this will be the perfect opportunity now to pull it out and use it and make a fab card. Hopefully it will inspire you to use it more as well. So thank you so much, ladies. I'm going to, oops, disappear. I just disappeared. No, I'm going to run away and have some lunch. I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are, and if you are watching the replay, I'll keep an eye out for comments. The chat comments won't come up for about 24 hours after the video is published, so as a video, so so yeah, I'll keep an eye on the other comments. Thank you so much for coming along. Lovely to chat with you all. It's lovely when you all come along and say hello. Thanks, girls. Bye.